So then I says to the guy, I says, Sonic Heroes, more like Sonic Zeros. And that's how I lost another potential romantic partner on the first date.
Oh, shit.
I'm joking. I don't date. Good evening, my darling batlings. Birthday week 2025 continues today, and yes, I'm once again using a different voice model tonight. The last one sounded a bit too Brazilian, which makes sense because it was based off of a Brazilian voice, but I didn't think the accent would be carried over from it. Whoops. Gear's not even here, I think.
No, but that's just me putting that out there before he starts.
Anyway, tonight, we are continuing Sonic Heroes, because I want to get through this at some point, because I keep starting it over. But also, it's a game that I have a nostalgic attachment to, because I got it for one of my birthdays. My dad took me to GameStop for my birthday because this game came out in January of 2004, I believe it was. Well, it was an EB Games then, but it later became a GameStop. And it let me pick out any game that I wanted, and I had been following, you know, video game magazine coverage of Sonic Heroes. You know, long-awaited sequel to Sonic Adventure 2, which I was a huge fan of at the time. I saw it on the shelves. I got the GameCube version, because GameCube was my primary console at the time. I had an Xbox, but that was over at my dad's house. Well, no, I think I would get the Xbox later. Yeah, I would get it that Christmas. Because I remember it came with Halo 2. Which came out in, I believe, 2004. Like, I had a PS2, but I played Sonic Adventure 2 on the GameCube. I played Sonic Mega Collection on the GameCube. So I was like, I'm gonna keep my Sonic games on the GameCube. So, yeah, this is a game that I have a lot of nostalgic attachment to. So, it's fitting that we continue it for the birthday marathon, even though I'm playing the Xbox version rather than GameCube, because the GameCube version's a bit pricey nowadays, as are all GameCube games.
Yeah.
Whereas Xbox games are borderline worthless. Unless you're Futurama for the Xbox, in which case you go for way too much.
Oh, I actually meant to tell you this, but speaking of GameStop, on my way home today, I passed by my local GameStop and found that it's all boarded up. So I guess they've actually finally, that particular store went out of biz.
Not surprising, GameStop's been on life support for years. Excuse me for a moment while I get up to close the disk drive, because there's not really a good way to do this automatically.
Yeah. Phone to do not disturb so that the buzzing doesn't get picked up by the mic.
I'm planning on modding, soft modding, and a little bit of hard modding my Xbox soon with the money that my dad said he's going to give me for my birthday, alongside finally paying the person that's going to re-rig my 2D model.
Nice.
I did... something's fucky with the colors. Let me fix that.
Oops.
There we go. The cords weren't plugged in all the way.
Oh, okay.
Plus, I think I just need to get a better solution for hooking up my Xbox to my scaler.
Yeah.
Because the official HD video pack is about over $20, over 20 years old, and these things are starting to fail over time as technology does. Thankfully, there are modern solutions for it.
Okay.
Yeah, the two mods that I want to do, apart from soft modding my Xbox so I can play backup games, the PC-friendly way of saying pirated games, is I want to get a bigger hard drive installed so I can run games off the hard drive so I don't have to deal with the disk drive that's starting to fail. Hey, Coffee Pot! Hell yeah, we're Sonic Heroes, blast my A. Hell yeah, brother! Also, the game is muted. Thanks for telling me.
Well, that's weird, because I was listening to it on the...
Yes, but on Twitch...
no, I wasn't.
Different audio.
I was listening through Twitch, and I was like, I could have sworn I heard the game audio on Twitch.
No, because the source for it was muted.
I guess I just misheard something. I thought, I probably heard the noise and probably thought it was coming from Twitch when it was actually coming from the call.
Yes, that is what happened. So we're pretty far into Team Sonic's story, over halfway through. Got a couple of the Chaos Emeralds. If we finish Team Sonic's story, we're gonna move on to Team Dark. Also, feel free to hop into the call if you feel up to it, Coffee Pot, whenever you, if you don't feel up to it now, but you do later, you're always welcome. So when we last left off, we had defeated the Egg Albatross.
It's a fake?
From these canyons, watch as I conquer the world with my air fleet, and this time you can't stop me.
Drat, a trap to stall for time. It's not an Eggman robot. Sonic! Knuckles! Wait for me!
Oh? Seriously, peak Metal Sonic design here, and it's a shame that we never get a proper fight with it.
Right.
Neo Metal Sonic is best Metal Sonic. Don't at me. As a matter of fact, do at me. It drives up engagements.
Eggman! No way off the hook this time!
Excellent work as always, Metal.
I have thought about doing a fan dub or an abridged series of the Sonic OVA. I just know that I would play Eggman. Cause I can do a pretty good impression of that Eggman.
That's fair.
You learned recently that Ryan Drummond voiced Neo Metal? Yep. It was Ryan Drummond with a more sinister take on his Sonic voice, and then they pitched it down and filtered it to sound more evil and robotic. And that's how they did it in the Japanese dub too. So it's not just a localization thing.
There's a frog over there!
Froggy.
I wonder if any of these frogs know Froggy. Or is that racist to assume that all frogs know each other?
And the
I don't want to be accidentally racist. That's for its job. And I don't want to steal work from him. I bet at least one of them is his dad. I mean, feel free to clip it if you want to.
I'm definitely gonna clip that and send that to him, because he's never gonna live this down, is he?
I mean, he's the one who keeps bringing it up.
I know. Hang on, I'm gonna deafen myself for a few minutes while I clip it. So I'll be back.
Okay. You'll be back, but I prefer Moser. So if at least one of the... If at least one of them is his dad, is Froggy's dad, then does that mean that Froggy is a runaway, or does it mean that Froggy's dad is a deadbeat? No racism while you're here, but misogyny is allowed. That's his words, not mine. I do not endorse that. The only misogyny allowed is against me.
Hey, this is sweet! Who'd ever think this thing could float in the air? Level up!
Both is good.
All right.
So Froggy's a runaway because his dad is a deadbeat. Got it. We're adding lore. Hear that? Hear that, Ian Flynn? That's some pre-lore that you can retcon in later. Just make sure to cite your source.
I'll take.
Froggy just isn't in this game, huh? Froggy is part of Team Rose's story, where, you know, they're looking for Froggy, Sonic, and Chocola. But, Froggy only appears in, like, one cutscene, I think. Like, weirdly, Froggy doesn't get many appearances after, Sonic Adventure 1, no matter how many times we see Big the Cat. Is this his last game he appears in? Physically, I think so. Because, like, all the other times that Froggy is mentioned, it's like, he's not present. Either Big is looking for him, or, Froggy's just at home while Big is, somewhere else.
Oh, Fur's gonna want to try and kill me for that one.
Hang on! This flower's heading straight.
Just remember, if he does kill you, I called dibs on your transfer modifiers collection. Including the third-party ones.
Yeah, he just wants the Star Screams. Or actually, he wants the Shockwaves as well.
There they are!
Eggman's robot!
I think he specifically wants anything Shockwave or Barricade related.
Meanwhile, it's like I want those HasLab figures. I'm still kicking myself for missing out on both Star Saber and Deathsaurus.
Yeah.
You theorizing that Froggy is just fucking dead? No, Shadow Frontiers confirms that at least at the time that, Sonic Generations takes place, Froggy is still alive.
All right. Got it.
He's the world's youngest living frog, considering he's been alive for, 25 years and counting. Technically 26 years and counting, because, Sonic Adventure 1 came out in Japan in 1998.
The ice keeps growing! Let's try grinding on it!
Big is hallucinating? Big, you can let him go. The accident wasn't your fault.
I really
There's
do
no
not
way you
care for
could
the
have
voice.
known. There's no way you could have known that, Froggy was in debt to the Yakuza.
All right.
I was just gonna say, I don't really care for the Tails voice.
Yeah, no one does. Which is why this is the part of why this is the only game that we have this Tails voice actor. And it's also the last time they had a kid voice Tails.
Yeah.
That was tight.
If you look at the voice acting credits for this game, a good chunk of the voice actors and like I think the voice director, all related to each other. Because they all have the same last name. Like, SBO is one of them that's related to Tails' voice actor.
You sure it's safe around here? There they are!
Eggman's robots!
Leave them to me, Sonic.
Hey, it's that Super Batnik that, you like so much. And now it's dead.
I didn't get a chance to see it. Oh well.
Then you should watch the stream. Or at least watch, my video feed. This game's very fast-paced. You gotta keep your eye on it at all times, except for when you don't.
Yeah. That's my bad. I was working on another Hero Forge custom.
May I ask which one?
The character's name is Cass. He is a evil paladin that apparently eventually became a vampire.
From what? Is he, like, from something?
He's from D&D lore.
Oh, okay. Speaking of
Basically,
D&D, I got Baldur's Gate 3 recently, and I'm not addicted yet, but I could see myself getting addicted to it.
Yeah. I really want to get my hands on Baldur's Gate 3 on a platform that I can play it on, but, you know, I don't have any of the current generation consoles in order to play it. For legit thought that it would be available to play on the Xbox One, and I was like,
No, of course not.
He kept saying that beforehand, and I'm like, before we actually confirmed that was not the case, I was like, dude, I don't.
If it wasn't coming to PS4, why would it come to Xbox One?
Exactly, that's what I was thinking. He's like, oh, it's gonna be backwards compatible.
No, that's not how backwards compatibility works.
Yeah, again, this is Furge we're talking about.
That's the opposite of backwards compatibility.
Exactly.
We're not going there.
Also, it's already a big enough file size on the consoles it is on. The file sizes for past generation games are way bigger because they're not optimized for SSDs. So, it's already at least 100 gigs. I think it's like 80 to 100 gigs on PS5, if I remember correctly. Imagine how much it would be on something where they can't compress the files to account for loading on SSD. This is the Super Batnik I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a variant that comes in later that has a helmet.
Oh, boy.
One thing you'll notice if you actually look at the enemy listing, like the list of enemy names. Oh god, a Keanu Reeves shadow in this voice profile. I'm afraid of how that's going to come out.
Oh, no.
You're a colorful bunch, especially that sexy blue hedgehog.
Oh, jeez.
I hope that tickles the cockles of your heart. Or tickles your cock.
Watch out!
Yes!
Those are Eggman's robots!
Got it.
Yes, Tails. Those are Eggman's robots.
Now what I want Dami Mommy Sat. Are you trying to say now you want Dami Mommy Sato?
I think that's what CoffeePot's trying to say.
Okay. Sorry, I stroked out there for a bit.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, lesson learned. Do not speed up on the vine rail grind there. You will go plummeting to your death. Let's see if I actually retain this information.
Did you guys hear a croak? Shit!
All a part of your plans, all according to Keikaku, as the weeds say. Translators note, Keikaku means plan.
There's that black frog again. Whoa! That fruit can take out the enemies. There's that black frog again.
Sonic, are you racially profiling the frogs?
I was just gonna say the same thing.
He says there was some stank on it. Just like he talks about those black creatures in Shadow the Hedgehog.
Right?
Got it. Level up.
Everybody supersonic racist.
They never give up, do they? Got it. Already?
No, I lost my key. I guess I'll have to get the rest of the Chaos Emeralds on Team Rose's story. That's how I usually do them anyway. Hey, yo, Sonic, why'd you say Black Frog like that precursor to Shadow the Hedgehog? Exactly!
That was close.
That was one heck of a battle.
No problem. Piece of cake. We're not going there, are we? Yes, we are. Shoot.
By the way, I just finally got around to listening to the 30th anniversary Sonic Symphony. And I really want to see that live if I can ever go to a performance of it. Because apparently they've added even more stuff to it, as well as adding Kellen Quinn to their lineup of vocalists.
Use it to fly again?
But yeah, the lineup from the 30th anniversary performance was really good. Lots of good medleys of, orchestral medleys and arrangements of classic Sonic songs, as well as some stuff from more recent games up to that point, because Frontiers hadn't come out yet. As well as some orchestral arrangements of Crush 40 songs. So, they did an orchestral Live and Learn before Sonic 3 the movie did.
Leave it to me.
And they both sound good. What you giggling about?
Nah, I'm just looking at stuff on, Hold on.
That yeehaw is actually kind of appropriate, given that we're doing a lot of rail grinding, which is just
BRB.
zip lining in reverse.
Let's go. Let's go.
Got it.
Leave it to me.
Level up. Here we go. Got it.
Leave it to me. Let's go.
There's that black frog again. Here we go.
Well, I've actually never been on this path before. Let's see where it takes us. Probably forward, I would have to guess.
Here we go.
Sorry.
That indeed.
Last-minute thing. My mom asked me to go bring her something, and I was like, oh, great. She's not feeling good, and she's worried I'm starting to feel under the weather, too.
Oh. Yeah, there's something that's been going around, I've heard.
Let's see who's
Yeah.
like some sort of flu.
Ain't fun. Yeah. Ain't fun.
Well, typically being sick is not fun to begin with. Everyone is just getting sick all of a sudden. Hopefully not me. I don't want to get sick again. I've already had enough, I already got through the sick arc. I don't want to have version 2 of it.
It's an alligator! A giant alligator!
It's a good thing I've got 32 lives stashed up. Otherwise, I'd be getting frustrated here. Because I would be close to game overing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that Sonic Heroes in particular showers you with lives.
There's that black frog again!
They're trying to take us down to the swamp. Hurry!
Tails, shut up.
I know myself I'd be restarting that level for an A, right? Yeah, I can understand that.
Yes!
I keep thinking the game's about to freeze. And it's because I think the disk drive on my Xbox is starting to wear out.
Not my day.
This is my second Xbox that I've had because the first one, the disk drive just completely died.
Oof.
Which is why I want a mod mine, which is apparently pretty easy.
Wonder what the big rush is all about.
Hello, Rouge, in one of her sexiest outfits that's highly underrated.
Talk about
You're playing on OG Xbox? Yes, I am.
Long time no
Because it runs, the cutscenes stutter and desync a lot on Xbox 360.
What'd you say?
Sensors locked on Eggman. Non-compliant intruders will be destroyed.
Didn't you know? We have a date with Eggman too.
Is that so? Well then.
Well then, it'll be a date to die for.
That's my line.
Is it? Is it really, Sonic?
Seriously, Shadow has amnesia at this point, but he still remembers. He still remembers that he doesn't like Sonic.
Not the best way to greet those you haven't seen in a while.
Level up!
One less supporter. Now I shall destroy you all.
Yes!
And that's that boss fight done with.
That was fast.
Seriously, just spam the tornado move and you'll win every time.
Hey guys, chill out.
No, you.
Now kiss. Between Sonic and Shadow, not Team Sonic. I don't ship them that
Right.
way.
Nope.
Also, CoffeePot, I saw your finished piece of your horse girl, and I love her. Not a furry, but I love that design.
Sure this is the right way?
I saw Shadow and Eggman head this way. This has gotta be the right way.
But it's so spooky here.
Maybe that's the ghost of Shadow we saw earlier.
Woo! Stop it, Knuckles!
Nowadays, it would be Knuckles that's scared of the ghosts. Because they resurrect, like, they made it so, like, they called back to King Boom Boo in Sonic Adventure 2 as making him scared of ghosts. Because he fought an actual ghost.
Not bad.
Yeah.
What's going on?
She's so fun to draw. She looks fun to draw. But you need to learn how to shade. Yes, shading is a difficult skill to learn, but it's real satisfying once you get it right.
This kid
I had to learn how to shade for my art class. Yeah, it takes some practice. Definitely. Also, if it was the ghost of Shadow that we saw earlier, then we should call the ghost busters to get the ghost, because the ghost owes me money.
Like, how much money does Shadow apparently owe you?
$5, and I'm willing to commit necromancy in order to get that $5 back. It's the principle of it rather than the actual amount that matters.
Yeah!
Let's go!
Hey, you surprised me. Got it.
Level up! Here we go!
Let Sonic take care of this.
All right!
Leave it to me! Let's go! Let's go!
Try going down there. Look, the door's opened.
I love this level, but I fucking hate Mystic Mansion. Mystic Mansion sucks. It's a pain in the ass. But Hang Castle is great.
Yeah!
Shit! Shit!
Time for the return of all my favorite bits.
Okay.
Hey, Knuckles. Hey, Knuckles. What's your
Knuckles?
what's your opinion on the music of Imagine Dragons? I have to agree, Knuckles, they are shit. I'm one of those people that don't think they've ever been good.
Got it. Level up.
Like, I've heard people be like, oh, Imagine Dragons was good before such and such album or before they became famous. I'm like, no, they've never been good. It's just that their more recent music, since they went commercial, is even worse.
The castle is flipped upside down!
Oh, but the lever goes hard. No, it doesn't. That's not the sound of a vocalist hitting a really high, impressive note. That's the sound of a vocalist failing to hit a high note and hurting his throat in the process.
Let's go!
Got it.
Watch out! Leave it to me! Dave!
Okay.
Dave!
Yeah!
All set! Dave!
Yeah!
All right!
Okay, but my enemy from Arcane is pretty good. It's the most tolerable their songs that I've heard, but
Line up.
I still find it to be horrible. It's damning it with frank praise to say that it's that's good by Imagine Dragons standards, considering their standard is very below average. At the very least, I won't give it credit for giving me one of my favorite brain rot edits of a song. The Misery.
That was close.
Are we okay?
No problem.
My opinion of Imagine Dragons is that if you rearrange the letters in their name, you get gonad migraines, which is a better name for, which is a more fitting name for the kind of music that they make.
Let's go!
You really don't care for Imagine Dragons, do you?
I hate them slightly less than I hate Maroon 5. They're not my least favorite band, but they're pretty up there.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Like, Imagine Dragons makes music that goes straight to car commercials instead of to like the radio or to playlists. It goes straight to the car commercial. Whereas Maroon 5 makes music that goes straight to the grocery store or convenience store in-store radio that is just meant to torment the underpaid hourly wage workers with mediocre pop music for hours for 4 to 8 hours a day, depending on whether they're part-time or full-time.
Oh.
Look for an entrance to the tower.
Yuji Naka, why'd you put every command on one button? That's a good question about a lot of his 3D games, but especially Balan Wonderworld. As someone that's played Balan Wonderworld, I could say, the most telling thing about Balan Wonderworld is that in order to understand that the game even has a plot, you need to read a novel that the game does not tell you exists. It's not even a case of like, oh, you need supplementary material to get the full context. It's like, no, if you play the game, you get no story. The story is all in a separate book.
Oh.
Not bad.
Flip upside down.
Here we go.
Got it.
Also, I get that Balan Wonderworld was trying to go for like a more Super Mario 64, collect-a-thon platformer approach. But then I'm like, okay, but why then advertise it as a spiritual successor to Nights into Dreams, which did not play like that?
Yeah.
It's also a bad collect-a-thon platformer because it doesn't feel like you're making progress as you collect the things. It just feels like you're collecting things for the sake of collecting.
Here we go.
Also, despite Balan being on the front cover and being the character that everyone was hyped for, you don't even get to play as him outside of some QuickTime events.
Yeah. We're turning upside down again.
We're back to normal now.
Like, to give you an idea of how much stuff is contained in that fucking novel that, you would completely miss out on if you just played the game, you won't know who the villain is or his name or what the hell his deal is without reading that novel.
Oh, jeez.
You'll just see a guy that looks like a Shadow the Hedgehog version of Balan, and you'll be like, okay, so I guess he's the bad guy.
Level up.
Also, why is it called Wonderworld and not Wonderland? It flows off the tongue better. Yeah, it's almost like Balan Wonderworld was doomed from the start.
Look at that statue.
And for once, it's not Square Enix's fault. Fun fact, Yuji Naka was sentenced to, I believe it was 9 years and 6 months in prison. With, I think it was like either 2 or 4 of those years being probation. Or like suspended sentence or something like that. And he has to pay back almost $1 million, I think, in fines related to his financial crimes.
Got it.
So basically, what was supposed to be Yuji Naka's big comeback ended up sealing his fate of ever working in the video game industry again.
Ah, jeez.
Because all this attention was all this attention about Yuji Naka committing crimes at Square Enix it only got mainstream attention because he had just had the failure of Balan Wonderworld being the first game he had directed in a long time.
Let's jump!
Like, even during his time at Sonic Team, he didn't direct most of the Sonic games. He was more of like an executive producer or like a team leader. Sort of like the Miyamoto of Sonic Team, where he's not directly involved in the development of the games. He's just like the guy you go to for guidance and approval of new ideas you want to try. So, like, as much as people want to say, as much as people want to say that Takashi Iizuka doesn't know anything about Sonic and doesn't know what to do with Sonic, he's the one who directed the adventure games. So he's cut his teeth working on the era of Sonic that a lot of people have nostalgia for. He's earned his place. Didn't he straight up leave during 06 development? Yeah, Yuji Naka left during Sonic 06's development and poached a couple of staff from that team. So when he left, he took people with him, which made the dev team even smaller after it had already been split in half. Due to the Wii version of Sonic 06 being cancelled.
What's next?
And, instead, you know, the person who was supposed to direct Sonic 06 left the Sonic 06 development team to form a second, like a B team to Sonic Team that, was going to work on, Sonic and the Secret Rings.
Oh, jeez.
So the guy that ended up directing, Sonic 06 was someone who had never really directed a Sonic game before. He directed Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, but he had never been in a directorial position for any Sonic game. And even he was like, "Are you sure you want me to take this role? Are you really sure? Can someone else do it? I don't think I'm up to it." Great music, ass level, agreed. And not the good kind of ass, more like Taylor Swift ass, where it's negative booty.
Watch out! Step on that shadow, and that weight crashes down.
Leave it to me. Let's go! Whee! Whee! Let's go! Whee!
Here we go! Level up!
Leave it to me.
All right.
And I have a personal if you wonder why I dunk on Taylor Swift so much, it's because I have a personal grudge against her. Because to this day, my email inbox still gets flooded with emails from her fan club that I never even signed up for. Like, all I did was take part in that voting campaign of, like, what school do you want Taylor Swift to perform at? And there was like a troll campaign that I was a part of because I was fresh out of high school, so of course I was an edgy teenager, to have her perform at the Horace Mann School for the Deaf.
Gotta admit, that actually would have been kind of funny.
And that one won, and she did the performance.
Oh, jeez.
So, you know, good on her. So, like, my personal grudge is all about me trying to be an edgy teenager troll and getting bit in the ass for it. And as a result, for the past decade and a half, I've had my email inbox flooded with stuff about Taylor Swift concerts where I'm like, please stop sending this to me. How do I unsubscribe?
Yeah, right.
I've tried blocking the email address and it doesn't work. Negative white woman booty. Yeah, I've seen white women with booty. There's a term for that, pog. But she might as well be concave. If we're talking like small white woman booty, she's so small she's concave.
Jump now!
That's a pretty funny story. Yeah. I've noticed I have a lot of weird stories that entertain people for some reason.
Brace yourself. Level up.
Snooping as you
Like another one of those stories that I could tell, like a weird story that seems to entertain people, is the time I accidentally cosplayed Tommy Wiseau at a Pokemon panel. I say accidentally cosplayed Tommy Wiseau because I wasn't trying to cosplay Tommy Wiseau. I was trying to cosplay Kea Tenpoin from Evil Zone, which is my favorite, like, Z-grade fighting game. So, like, the cosplay involved, like, a long black wig and dressing up in a suit. Because that's how he dresses. That is how cosplay works. You can hold forward on those rescar things to go faster, by the way. Never knew that. Watch out, we're advancing at negative 2 miles per hour. But, so, like, I go to Underbelly's Pokeholics Anonymous panel. That was, like, an annual thing for a couple of years at NecoCon. It's also where I kind of have, like, my own personal stories about the Screenwave guys that work on Angry Video Game Nerd, because they used to be part of Underbelly, back before they formed Screenwave. So I've met some of those people before they became, like, internet locale targets. Like, I go there and they have, like, you know, a Q&A portion of Pokeholics Anonymous. And, like, I'm in my cosplay. I stand up to ask my question. And the leader, like, the head honcho of Underbelly, whose name I can't remember, I think his name was Frank, just looks at me and says, "Holy shit, it's Tommy Wiseau!" And from that point onward, it became my Tommy Wiseau cosplay rather than my Kea Tenpoin cosplay, including the time that I wore it to a college movie club screening of The Room.
Oh, so you weren't that pissed off after all.
No, I wasn't pissed off. I thought it was hilarious. I don't get pissed off when people misidentify my cosplays, dude. I think it's funny. Like, the time that I was cosplaying, Wes from Pokemon Coliseum, and I was at a Pokemon photo shoot with other Pokemon cosplayers ready to get my picture taken. And one of the organizer of the photo shoot asks if I'm dressed as Ragna the Blood Edge from Blaze Blue. The only thing that they had in common was silver hair and a long coat. But it's the wrong color because Ragna wears red, whereas I was wearing blue. I also didn't have a gigantic sword that turns into a scythe.
Yeah, for me, I was more like laughing at this situation because I'm like, how the hell did someone mistake me for this character? Basically, this was like 2014. I was at a convention in Indiana called Ramen Con, and back then it used to take place at a hotel, like a very small hotel, but a hotel nonetheless. And I'm just like, it's dark, it's late, and like if this is like Saturday night of the con, I'm tired, but I don't really feel like going back to my room just yet. And I'm dressed as the Joker, mind you. And this is like Arkham Origins Joker. So before I had the purple suit made and everything. So I just like I went into this restaurant / bar, and of course they had to card me to make sure I was of age, which, you know, they had to take a couple of minutes to do so because the photo on my ID and the faces that was looking at them looked very different because of the makeup. But that's not the funny thing.
Yeah.
I went in, I sat down at one of the tables, and, like, there's a band playing on stage, and I'm just, like, sitting there with a glass of water that I ordered, just trying to, you know, relax and cool off for the makeup. So the head singer of the band, the head singer of the band notices my costume in the corner, and basically calls out, is like, because I didn't know he was talking to me. I was thinking, like, he calls out, is like, is there Beetlejuice out there? Is there a Beetlejuice in the crowd? And I was like, I started looking around. It's like, what, where? And then, of course, then I realized, is like, he was talking about me. And I was like, oh, he's talking about me. And everyone in the crowd actually called out to him. It's like, called him out on it. It's like, dude, that's the Joker, that's not Beetlejuice, that's the Joker. I should have said, but I didn't think of it at the time. This one really, I'm kicking myself in the ass for this one. I should have said, it's like, I am not the ghost with the most. I am the world's first fully functioning homicidal artist.
Leave it to me. Let's go.
Never say Joker juice again. That sounds rancid.
Yeah. Joker Venom, Joker Putty, Joker Toxin, that's fine. Joker Juice, get that shit out of here. No, Coffee. Bad
Joker
coffee
Nut.
pot.
That's Joker Nut is isn't Joker Nut basically just like the plot of both Arkham City and Arkham Knight when you think about it?
Yeah.
Let Sonic take care of this.
I know it's blood, but like he's continuing his light through other people, which is, you know, he's basically giving them his essence, his mojo.
Take my blood, for example. Wish somebody would. This stuff is killing me!
I don't want to think that the Joker puts his spunk in Batman. Where would you prefer that the Joker puts his Joker juice? And don't say Harley Quinn, because that's a toxic relationship, and we don't condone that.
Fuck.
Nowhere? Yes, that's the correct answer.
Leave it to me.
Best left to Tails.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. Let's go. Let's go.
Also, I would take the Jerkler over the Rizzler. Except, not the Rizzler, but Rizzler is okay. The Narissa Rizzler. Just because Hololive. My favorite quote is Knuckles saying too cool. I don't know why, but that brings a smile to my face. It's because he sounds so enthusiastic and supportive when he says it. Like, you can imagine saying that to you when you told him, like, something about your day. And it's just like, thanks. Thanks, Uncle Nuppies. This is, I don't know why, but Scott Dryer's Knuckles voice gives me like cool uncle vibes.
Uncle Nuppies. Uncle Nuppies. Please
What
tell
are you
me,
on
Coffee
about?
Pot, Coffee Pot, please tell me I'm not the only one who heard them say that.
Now I said Uncle Nuppies.
Trying to stop us now? What?
Uncle Nuckies.
I'm really mad.
I guess the voice changer's fucking it up. I don't know. I can't hear myself through the voice changer.
That's exactly what's happening. I'm laughing at that. Uncle Upsies.
I mean, who wouldn't want upsies from Knuckles?
Really depends. How exactly is?
Well, it depends on which incarnation and which voice of Knuckles we're talking about.
Yeah.
Definitely from Boom Knuckles. The old movie Knuckles.
Yeah.
Leave it to me. Dave,
Like, I would think Boom Knuckles is able to do it, for the fact it's like, dude is... The dude is, pretty buff and tall for an echidna.
We destroy the robots. Maybe we can use the item. Blast away! Too cool.
leave it to me. Dave. Dave. Dave.
Movie Knuckles voice.
Come and get some.
We will
Okay, but while Movie Knuckles voice doesn't work for a game Knuckles, it works for that incarnation of Knuckles. It's like how I couldn't imagine Ben Schwartz voicing Sonic in the games, but his voice is perfect for the movie incarnation of Sonic.
Yeah.
Smash them all! Got it! Already?
Blast away! Not bad.
Also, Ari, I don't know if you heard, but today they finally announced that Transformers Reactivate has been canceled. They finally put out the...
Yeah, I don't know why it took them so long to announce what we already knew for the past year.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like Ferd messaged me today, and he's like, telling me how bad this is, and I'm like, dude, we kind of knew this. It just... Though, what I'm wondering is what took them so goddamn long to announce that it was actually canceled. Like, what would they hold? Were they really? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that one Transformer game that we saw a very bad trailer for at the Game Awards a few years ago and then never heard anything about again. It's been canceled. They at least released toys for it that they obviously already had in production and were contractually obligated to do something with since they had already made the molds for them.
Yeah. But there's only like 4 of them.
To my understanding, it was supposed to be like a live service game or something like that, so it's probably for the best that got canceled.
Yeah.
Not just so we don't have a bad live service Transformers game, but so we wouldn't have another Transformers game that, flops on release in the sea of live service games that die within the year they came out. And gets delisted. Okay, they announced that they're ending the live service aspects of Suicide Squad, which doesn't surprise anyone, but they're not delisting it to my knowledge.
Those were the easy ones!
Well, a game like that should be delisted, I think.
No. I don't think, I think in most cases, games should not be delisted if they don't do anything hateful or criminal or scanny. Just being a bad game doesn't warrant getting delisted. Because I think, bad games should be preserved so we can learn from them. We can learn why they failed and learn not to do that again.
Okay, I see your point.
Even bad games shouldn't be delisted. Preservation is still important. Yeah, also, that's also why I hate live service games, because, most times they're live service multiplayer games. And, when those servers get shut down, you just can't play this game that you've probably spent a good amount of money on.
Yeah.
We're flying way high.
better not fall.
That's why I didn't move over to Overwatch 2 when it came out, because it's I paid for Overwatch 1.
The cannons are aiming.
I paid good money for that, and now I'm just never able to play it again. And you replaced it with an Overwatch that's worse in every way. So no thank you. I don't care if it's a free upgrade, it's a free game anyways. So
Yeah,
I'm out like $60.
right. You and like everybody else who bought that damn game.
Yeah. And I know the reason that they made it like, oh, we're replacing it with Overwatch 2 instead of like making it a separate release is because they knew that Overwatch 2 was going to be shit and that no one would want to play it when Overwatch 1 was still available. So just remove the other option so you have to play Overwatch 2. Or if you're like me, you just don't play it because if they're gonna remove the good game and replace it with a worse game, then I'm not going to indulge them by continuing to play it. Not that I was like actively playing it at the time. I stopped playing years ago before Overwatch 1 was condemned to the Shadow Realm. But like,
Yeah.
it's the principle of the thing. A lot of hard work and time went into that, and now it's just all gone with the press of a button.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Because Blizzard couldn't be arsed to make a good enough game to stand on its own. And they knew.
yeah. Well, well, since when has Blizzard ever been making good decisions lately?
I would say they haven't made any good decisions for a while, but few I've elected to.
Yeah.
Oh, you see this red and yellow robot here that I just killed? Never mind. Like these are sort of like, you know, these are more of your super badniks, and they're considered like the ultimate version of the E100 series line. So like while Omega was the last of the E100 series, these are something like E1000s or something.
Huh.
I don't know. Omega talks about them in the Team Dark story. And, you know, he's willing to destroy them to prove that he's superior.
Yeah.
Also, can we talk about how, like, this level here has some of the best visual design of, any 3D Sonic game? It really feels like you're up in the sky. And it's cool that, like, each section of the stage is a different battleship in the fleet.
Destroy those cannons with thunder.
Instead of it just being one long, ship level, you're going across multiple ships that are all flying high up in the sky. It's such a cool idea. And they just, like, never did it again.
Yeah.
Level up.
Well, then again, since when did Sega at the time ever make a really good decision like that?
I mean, you joke about that, but Sega was near bankruptcy again after they had just gotten out of being near bankruptcy at the, not far from this, because it turned out that their first ventures into being a multi-platform, game developer didn't go so well financially. Like, Sonic sold well, but everything else didn't.
Sega has been kind of a shit company for a good probably at least a decade now.
No, not at all. Not at all. They're a great company when you're looking at,
talking about, like,
you know.
I'm talking about
Go ahead.
When it comes to the games, when it comes to the games that aren't Sonic, almost every one of them is pretty much a
Well, they
disaster
don't
piece.
make. I wouldn't say that because they don't make much besides Sonic and Yakuza. And they haven't been making much besides Sonic and Yakuza for over a decade. We're like that announcement at the Game Awards, I think it was last year. Was it Summer Game Fest last year? It was Summer Game Fest, I think. Or maybe it was Game Awards the previous year. I don't know. I'm still getting used to it being 2025. So my time's all messed up. But when they announced that they were doing a remake of Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi and all that kind of stuff, that was big news because they're finally doing something that's not Sonic or Yakuza and involves legacy IPs that aren't just Sega Genesis games.
Yeah, problem is, you know, I just feel like knowing and I hate to be negative about this, but I've been noticing how, like, a lot of a lot of big companies, when it comes to video games, have been ignoring a lot of the other IPs that made them what they are. Like Capcom.
Yeah, that's why this is a big deal that they're bringing back IPs that have been dormant for over 20 years.
I mean, fair, but it's just I'm wondering how are they gonna fuck this up.
I mean,
feeling
Sega is the least likely to fuck it up, given that they've had a lot of very pro-consumer positions aside from their practice of delisting games when a new version comes out. Like, that's the one thing that's still a mark against them. They're against, they've spoken out against using AI art. They're one of the only companies that seems to be actively pro-LGBT during Pride Month by keeping their Pride banner on display even when June is over. Like, they got a lot of good stuff going on. They just make some questionable decisions every now and then.
Yeah.
And their track record, you know, like, their track record's been pretty good for a while now.
Yeah, my thing is, like, you make one questionable decision, I'm usually the kind of person that's like, I don't really give a shit anymore. You fucked up. You don't deserve my business unless, you know, I...
Well, it also helps that their questionable decisions aren't like, you know, very bad practices that carry on into the rest of the company. It's more like, this game you had planned to be a big thing didn't work out the way you wanted. Oops. Like when they tried to reboot, Golden Axe for a Western demographic, or when they signed an exclusivity deal to make Marvel Cinematic Universe games during Phase 1 of the MCU, and none of them turned out good. Which is also why we didn't get any non-Spider-Man Marvel games aside from Deadpool for a while after that.
Yeah. Now, don't even get me started on the MCU. Or Disney in general, honestly.
Yes, I know not to do that, so please don't.
Yes, I will not.
That Captain America game you will defend. The Captain America game was the best one of them, but it was still like, it was okay. Not great, not terrible, but, you know, still not what I would have gone with for a Captain America game. It was like trying to be a more action-focused Arkham game. Like Arkham with just the combat instead of the mix between combat and stealth, which, you know, fits in theory for Captain America because he's not exactly a stealthy guy. But, you know, I feel like it could have been more. Something more akin to, like, I could see it as, like, having... I look at now and I'm like, man, if Raven Software or Machine Games could have developed this instead of a team at Sega, this would have been amazing.
Yes!
I mean, you know, another thing, like, a lot of companies in the past couple of decades, actually, not like the past decade, probably decade and a half, I feel I've been making a lot of stupid and very morally questionable decisions. Like, well, I wouldn't say morally questionable, but just like questionable in general. Like the first
I wouldn't say morally questionable in most cases, just more like morally dubious.
Yeah, but the thing is, like for a while back, I remember, like back in, I think I want to say it was 2010. 2010 rolled around, and Lego decided to cancel Bionicle. And the weird thing is about it, now this is what, the fact that they canceled it, that was bad enough. But what really irks me is because, for whatever reason, every time Lego has like one of these fan polls and they put Bionicle out there, as like an option.
Yeah, Bionicle keeps winning, and then they just don't do anything with it.
Yeah, and it's like, and the fact of the matter is, even a lot of fans were pissed off at the Lego movie, and I can understand why, because they said when they were going over like all the other Lego IPs that they did in the past, ones that are like discontinued. They said the characters actually said it's like, oh yeah, we don't need to talk about that. They just kind of like a blink and you'll miss it snapshot of like the 6 original Toa Mata figures, and it was like a lot of people were like, well, you know, Bionicle brought Lego out of bankruptcy. Like if it hadn't been for that, they wouldn't have been what they are today. So there's that, and then also the fact is that I also feel like, you know, Capcom, like for Capcom,
I knew you were going. I knew one of us was going to go into Capcom, and I was about to say, like, now you know what it's like to be a Mega Man fan. Because Bionicle fans have been getting shafted in the same way that Mega Man fans have, except you know, they keep teasing a comeback that never comes. As opposed to Lego, who doesn't even humor the idea of a Bionicle comeback.
Yeah, like they humored it once and then never again. But yeah, it's like, even with Capcom, like, I find it hilarious that they are going to try and revive every other IP that they had that you know they killed and everything. Without
not every other IP, because I can guarantee there's a list of IPs that they're never gonna touch again, even with their initiative to bring back legacy IPs. Like I know from the fact that it hasn't even gotten a so much as a port to modern consoles that they ain't going back to Beautiful Joe. Same thing with Piano 3 and God Hand. But like I also know they seem to be like allergic to making a new Darkstalkers.
Well, they've announced that. Well, yeah, okay, yeah, new Darkstalkers. That I will agree with you there, because they're just apparently remastering the old Darkstalkers games. Probably trying to
which
put out
they
like a legacy
already did last year.
Yeah.
We've already done this. You did it in the PS3 generation. Why do you keep selling the same 3 games? Make a new one.
And then it was also the fact of the matter was that I said this on social media when I saw this post, and I was like, you know, it's hilarious how Capcom will try and revive almost any other IP that they killed and that was under their banner, except Mega Man. Like, they just won't touch Mega Man for whatever fucking reason.
Well, they'll use Mega Man for overpriced. They'll use Mega Man for overpriced merch, and they got a new comic series coming out. But I've given up any hope on getting a new game unless Capcom puts their money where their mouth is and actually announces a game with a release date instead of just it's coming sometime so it can inevitably get canceled.
Right, like fucking reactivate.
My brother, as a jaded Mega Man fan who's been through the Mega Man drought just to see us go into another Mega Man drought that's lasted just about as long and seems to be going on even longer soon. I hate the toxic positivity that people like Proto Dude have of like, oh, Capcom's cooking something. They can't say what it is yet, but they're cooking something. They've been cooking something since 2018, and it'll be worth it. But we don't know what it is, and we can't. And anyone with insider connections can't say what it is. But they're cooking something. I'm like, you've cooked it so long, that's probably burned by now.
Yeah.
Like, I know for a fact that, you know, I want to be proven wrong on this, so you know, if I do get proven wrong on this, I don't care if you laugh at me because I'll be happy that I was wrong. That
Yeah.
Mega Man match or Rockman Tyson or whatever you want to call it game is never coming out, or at least in the form that it was originally conceived in. Because I am of the opinion that given the timeline of events of being slated for release right before COVID hit and threw Capcom's release schedule off by half a decade, and the fact that Mega Man games are always the first on the chopping block to get canceled, and the fact that the Mega Man series producer was shifted over to assisting with Street Fighter 6, and then he quit after Street Fighter 6 came out, leaving the Mega Man development team with no head to lead them. That tells me, yeah, Tyson's not coming out. I don't believe that it ever got past, pre-production. I don't think it ever entered full development, because otherwise we would have heard something by now.
Yeah.
Like, it's been 5 years since its existence was leaked. And we would have heard something by now if it was actually in active development, or if it had made it to active development. Mega Man and Rayman are basically in the same position. No, because unlike Mega Man, Rayman doesn't even get the merch and comics and TV shows and stuff like that. Rayman just gets a self-deprecating appearance in Captain Laserhawk that only makes the situation worse in hindsight, because that caused renewed interest in Rayman, and what Ubisoft ended up doing with that renewed interest in Rayman and off of the popularity of Captain Laserhawk was making an NFT game out of it. Well, now that I say that, Mega Man was given the NFT treatment for its anniversary. So maybe they're not so different after all. Capcom, who was, staunchly opposed to NFTs, announces NFTs for just Mega Man and other franchises. And they don't even announce it on any of their official channels. It was announced by the company that was doing the NFTs. And I've seen, Protodude's a person in the Mega Man community that I have a strained relationship with, because he's done so much for, news and preservation and stuff in the Mega Man community, and he's the only guy that can be trusted as a source of Mega Man news. But at the same time, he's such a Capcom bootlicker that he doesn't seem to grasp the responsibility that comes with his unique position in the community. At Summer Games Fest last year, they sent out, Capcom sent out these press kits to advertise that they were going to be at Summer Games Fest and have a lot of announcements to make, which we now know with the bad hindsight, just like everything at Summer Games Fest ended up being a big fat nothing burger.
Yeah.
But he was hyping that up. There's some sort of big mystery announcement that Capcom has planned to keep an eye on, and everyone's like, okay, does this mean a new Mega Man? And when it ends up not being that at all and ends up being just focused on games that we already knew about, like Dragon's Dogma 2, which was already out at the time, so why is it at Summer Games Fest? People are like, Protodude, what the fuck? Why'd you hype us up for nothing? And, oh, hi, CoffeePot.
So I didn't want to interrupt your rant.
Everyone's like, Protodude, what the fuck? Why'd you hype us up for nothing? And he's like, oh, I didn't say it would be something Mega Man related. Ignore the fact I'm a Mega Man focused, source. I was just excited for whatever Capcom has. I never said it would be a Mega Man announcement. even had a discussion with him recently in the comments of one of his articles where he agreed with me that Capcom's suspicious silence on the existence of Mega Man Tyson for the past 5 years, along with the fact that, as I said, Mega Man games are always the first to get canceled if something needs to be canceled so they can refocus their dev team onto a higher profile project. And, just all these factors lining up leads to the very strong possibility that Tyson, as it was conceived, no longer exists. And he couldn't deny that I had a point in that it's suspicious about how silent they've been about this in particular compared to everything else. So I'm like, he's finally starting to, maybe I've put a crack in his armor, and he's starting to realize that the toxic positivity of everything's okay, just trust, everything's okay, we're totally not in the same place that we were after Inafune left. And I hate saying that, because Inafune ended up being a piece of shit. But, basically, we're at the same place we were at for the 2010s, except it might go on even longer now. I just want him to realize that, pretending that everything is A-okay and that this is normal is counterproductive and infuriating.
Honestly, I think I highly believe that not as much as as hopeful as I am, Ari, I have a feeling that this guy will probably just go right back to his old ways and just start.
I know he's going to go back to sucking Capcom's dick because that's how, when you're an insider or an official collaborator as a social media influencer, you have to suck the company's dick in order to get access to stuff to report on. Yeah. I understand that. But I just think he's irresponsible with the unique position the Mega Man fandom bay has, and that's what bugs me about him.
Oh, I completely understand that, yeah.
I don't think he's a bad guy. Don't get me wrong. I don't have... My gripe with him is about, personal responsibility as the go-to source for news in the Mega Man community, rather than any moral failings as a person. If I wanted to talk about moral failings as a person, that would have to go to Reploid Revo. But we don't talk about Reploid Revo. I especially don't talk about Reploid Revo because I only discovered him and interacted with him a couple weeks before the news about him being a massive piece of shit came out that ended up to him just kind of, deleting fucking every presence that he had on the internet to avoid any culpability for the stuff he did.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into detail about it because it's stuff that could violate TOS. Just look it up.
That's
if it interests you.
I've got it.
Let's just say it's not limited to one fuck up. It's a series of fuck ups with multiple people that he should be in jail for.
Yeah.
But let's get off the negative vibes, because this is my birthday week and I want to have good vibes. Good vibes that I wish I could experience, but alas, as a assigned male at birth person, I will never know what the vibes feel like as someone who's assigned female at birth. There's your innuendo. So how are you doing, CoffeePot? What, have you been working on art today, too?
There's robots everywhere. Time to party.
Sorry about that. I was putting up dinner.
I'll destroy everything that
Oh, okay. Have you been working on a arc today?
Yes, I have actually. I can't show
I would
it though,
love-
because it's not safe for
I would
work.
love to, if it's not safe for work, I understand. I obviously not show it on stream, because I don't have a good way of saying that up. But I
mean,
love
it's literally just
seeing...
blocks right now, so like...
Okay, so it's not like... I getcha.
Yeah,
So
I'm
it's
just
less
going on
that,
today.
so it's less that, you can't show it on Twitch, and more so that, like, there's just nothing to show at this point in the
There's
process.
literally nothing to show.
Gotcha.
But... Oh, 1 second. Oops.
There's robots everywhere. Time to party.
Your deck is mounted! Keep your guard up!
I'll destroy everything that comes my way.
Oh, shit!
So, fun fact, did you know that Sonic Heroes was not originally supposed to be on all three major platforms that were out at the time? Which is why the PS2 version looks and runs the worst, and why they, why some of the in-game stuff doesn't exactly look the best.
There's gotta be a switch for this somewhere.
This hasn't been 100% confirmed, partly because, a lot of times when you ask Takashi Iizuka about what the development process was like during this period of Sonic, he gives conflicting answers every time he's interviewed. But the supposed story goes that Sonic Heroes was going to start development on in-house engine developed by Sega, which, was optimized for GameCube and Xbox as the primary platforms. But Sony stepped in and was like, hey, you can't just release your first multi-platform new Sonic game on just the GameCube and Xbox. You gotta release it on the PS2 as well. And if you don't, then we're revoking your license to release anything else on the PS2. So they had to scrap their original plans for a custom engine and switch everything to renderware, which is not at all a bad engine. It's the engine that powered basically every big game of that generation because it was so optimized for these consoles. It powered everything from the Grand Theft Auto games to obviously Sonic Heroes and Shadow the Hedgehog. Just a lot of stuff. And as a result, they now had
like the big guys. If you stand in place and if you don't hold forward, but still press the attack buttons, Knuckles. Actually, I think this goes for all the power characters. They will like punch in place, so they won't like move forward.
Okay.
You do it repeatedly. Okay, try it now. Also, when you're at level 3 with any speed character, you can just home and attack the poles, and they'll instantly do the pulse ring.
I never knew that. There's so many mechanics to this game that I'm not aware of. I don't know if they're intentional mechanics or glitches. It's Sonic Team. It could be either. Oh, you were right about homie attacking the poles. Not that I thought you were wrong. It's just like, holy shit, I never knew that.
That was one heck of a battle!
No problem. Piece of cake.
To think I made it this far just to lose my key.
Got it. Level up.
Isn't that the most frustrating thing about Sonic Heroes is that you have to basically do a no-hit run of every Act 2 stage to in order to unlock the final story.
I don't understand why it isn't just like you lose the keys when you die.
Yeah, that's what it should have been. Not if you take Yeah, it shouldn't be you losing if you take a hit because the collision's kind of fucky in this game.
Alright!
Slow laser fire!
But
At the very least, it doesn't count as a hit. At the very least, it doesn't count as a hit if if you have a shield equipped.
A hero's welcome.
1, 2, 3, 4 laser cannons! We better watch out!
Fire!
yeah,
Fire
you can count
lasers!
But what was I saying? Oh, sorry for like keeping muting because I absolutely love my family at the moment.
No worries.
It's okay.
I still don't know how to avoid that. I just switch to the flight characters and fly over it, and then when it's done, I go back to
I've
mine.
never had that hit me before. I didn't think it was something that could hit you. Shadow Dragon, thanks for resubbing. 17 months in a row.
Shadow Dragon.
I need to figure how... Okay, in 1 more month, we'll have our second stream, baby.
That's too many babies. That's one too many babies, I'm gonna say.
That's too many babies.
Also, I never seen the rail switch just fling you off over the web.
Oh yeah, the rails do that all the time in this game, especially in Rail Canyon.
So fascinating, because that never happens to me. The only times that ever happens is when like it's like a curve, and like I'm rail switching from like the curve. You know, like when it's like twisting to like the left or right.
Right. I get. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Honestly, the problem with
Like it happens. It happens if you're holding on to the direction for too long while trying to switch rails. I think. I don't know. I haven't gotten it to happen consistently, so I can't say for sure.
I feel like trying to get off the rails is more of a problem than the rail switching for me.
Still not enough to stop us.
And then they didn't actually get rail switching right until the next game.
Yeah,
Only
and that's
for
a.
06
It's a shame that Yeah, I don't know why I'm suddenly getting hit by that. I've never had that thing hit me before. I thought it was just like a, stage effect thing that couldn't actually hurt you for 20 plus years.
You have to be, like, fast enough.
But, like, I don't know if I can go faster. I'm going as fast as I can.
I'm not sure what's the problem.
Now, here is a high-pitched sound only you can hear.
It's the red laser.
That's not red, that's pink.
Only 4 lasers?
I feel like this is like the peak era of characters just saying stuff out loud to point out the obvious.
Yeah, it's the first game to have this mid-stage, so... Like, if they said more unique stuff, I think it would be cooler.
I mean, I actually do like them actually talking during the levels. It's just, the repeated voice lines. This is more the problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that, like, I like them talking in the levels. It's just, they repeat certain things too much. Like, especially
pretty awesome.
Especially in Bullet Station with, Knuckles saying, they're pulling out all the tricks.
Red laser fired!
Like, he says that, like, 3 or 4 times in that stage.
A hero's welcome.
1, 2,
And it's always the same exact recording each time.
Oh, JQR just left.
I think I'm going to hop off. I'm just getting increasingly pissed off, and I'd rather not continue to bring down the vibe.
Understandable. I hope you, start to feel better, JKR. Have a good night.
I mean, now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, I feel like the worst of is we're following from Tails or is Eggman's robots.
Look at all those Eggman's robots.
Which I don't think that's grammatically correct.
It's
It
not.
doesn't sound right.
It's not grammatically correct.
It's the yellow laser.
In the context of referring to, Actually, no, I can't think of a context where it would be grammatically correct. It's just too fucky. Oopsie whoopsie ooh wee, we made a fucky wucky. A little fucking boingo.
I hated that.
With the voice changer?
Yes, even with the voice changer.
I don't know how I got past that, but fuck it.
Oh my god, you almost did not make it.
Yes!
Holy shit! Oh, talk about a save.
You almost
Talk about-
didn't make the ledge.
Yeah. Holy shit, that was a
That's
close
E
call.
rank.
Shoot.
Yeah, that's an E rank, but fuck it. That's an A rank performance at the end right there. Congratulations! Now you can play battle stages in two-player mode.
I don't think I ever tried the 2-player mode ever, and like
The two-player mode's
ever in my
okay,
life,
not
actually.
as good as it's not as good as the Sonic Adventure 2 Battle two-player mode.
you think the Sonic Adventure 2 Battle 2-player mode is good? Because I just remember Chaos Control and Sonic win.
No. The real devastating one was just wait a minute.
Oh yeah, Amy's is broken. It just straight up is broken.
Amy's is broken because it lasts the longest and freezes you completely.
I hate this boss fight so much. Except you can also cheese it.
Yeah. There's cheese traps for like every boss. It's just I haven't practiced them.
Oh, I can tell you it's just you home and attack it repeatedly.
Okay.
I feel like part of this is like intentional because you can't get your rankings unless you like be in like 30 seconds. By the way, destroy the little pillars behind you, like you know the little cannons, because there's level up, stuff in there,
Okay.
and the rings, so you can also get Team Blast.
God, the slowdown. I don't know if the slowdown is due to this particular version or if it's just my dying Xbox disk drive.
And you can also just spam tails like Thunder Shoot.
Yeah, especially
and
once he's
can't
at
do
like level
anything.
3.
Yeah, he just can't do anything.
Level 3
This
Tails
game is
is
so
devastating. A level 3 Tails is a nightmare to deal with if you're fighting against him.
They never even get to level 1 because they just like they die so fast during the rival battles. I'm dreading he does the charge attack in a minute. Yep, there he goes.
Yep. Oh, I'm ahead of him. I don't think this is how this boss fight's supposed to work.
These boss fights, I love them to death, but I love them because you can break them so easily.
I also
They're
think
not
it's cool
very
that, just like Sonic Advance 2, they emphasize, the speed aspect of Sonic, apart from, the enemy rust boss fights, as I like to call them, like Red Dead Carnival and stuff like that.
rival
The proper Eggman boss fights. I like them because they really emphasize the speed aspect of Sonic by always having you chasing after Eggman before you get to actually duke
Also,
it out
Team
with him.
Blast. Yeah, I was gonna say you have your Team Blast. It does a lot of damage.
Team Rose's Team Blast and especially Team Chaotix's Team Blast are just holy shit. What did they play test those?
I feel like Team Rose is definitely intentional. I think they're both intentional.
Team Rose's is intentional, definitely, because they're supposed to be the easy mode. But Team Chaotix is like, you can just get infinite lives.
Yeah, I don't know how that goes. There's a lot of tips about this game that I know. Also, you could just home attack that. Yeah, level 3 with Sonic.
Oh yeah, I'm level 3. I didn't see that.
There's a lot of fun things that like you can do. Like once you're level 3, you can actually home attack the little shield enemies with Sonic, and they won't instantly die, but the shield will go away, and you can one
Right.
them.
Yeah, I've noticed that. As bad as I am at noticing things in this game.
Or
Oh no, I prefer the way that bosses are presented in Shadow the Hedgehog. But I wish Shadow the Hedgehog had more. I feel like Shadows would be better if it had more variety in bosses.
I feel like it's just as explorable, but they're not as buggy as these are.
Yeah, I'm talking about like in terms of being like engaging and interesting to fight. Just the only one I don't like is the fight against Diablon, because I still don't get how that fight works.
You're supposed to launch off of Sonic and then use Sonic as a platform to attack Diablon.
Well, I get that, but like, I get that, but like, usually there's like an obvious speedy way to beat the fight that involves guns, but like, that just does that they don't give you enough guns for the Diablon fight, so it just becomes a game of happy slaps.
Do they give you guns at all for Diablon?
They give you like one of a couple kinds of guns, and there's no like extra ammo for them. So it's like, oh, you get the pistol to fight him with.
I think the expectation is to get one of your chaos meters filled up and have infinite ammo.
I guess, but there's not like good fast ways to fill up your chaos meters. It's a boss fight that has a lot of conceptual problems to me.
Oh man, don't you love this voice line?
I mean, I just love Dean Bristow's Eggman because he was my first game Eggman. So I will always miss his performance and lament the fact that we will never get the chance to have him say "snooping as usual." I see.
Yeah, it's a shame he passed away. He was a really good.
Yeah, he and Ed Neal are the only Robotnik voice actors, not counting Jim Carrey because he's in live action, that we haven't gotten a "snooping as usual" I see out of.
I can smell victory.
Give up, Eggman!
Time to pay, Eggman.
Like Dean Bristow, obviously, because he's dead. And Ed Neal, because I don't think enough people know that he played Eggman.
Was it Underground? No, that was Jim Cummings in Underground.
No, that wasn't Jim Cummings in Underground. That was Gary Chalk.
Oh. Was he?
Jim Cummings was Sad AM.
Okay, it was Sad AM. Okay, I thought it was also Underground as well.
No, that was Gary Chalk.
Okay, my bad.
There used to be a video of like all the cartoon voice actors saying "snooping as usual" I see, but I can't find it anymore because YouTube makes it hell to find specific videos.
If I can find it, I'll DM it to you.
But it's like it was like someone recording him at a convention saying it.
I wonder, try to Rocket XL when he does that charge move.
I just never use Rocket Excel because I don't get how it works, because like it seems like you charge it up all the way and then you zoom, but like I charge it up all the way and I just go nowhere.
It's very buggy. I do use the rolling, the little somersault that he does, because when you're on like the little like you know, like the on rails loops in this game.
Yeah.
You just move very fast. You like just zoom out of there, and you can abuse it to do like some stuff. Like you can do some spin dash in previous games, but just not as easy or useful.
I'm just bullying Eggman. I say as I'm on like my 4th or 5th attempt.
Oh.
And then I die. Like, one of my problems with Sonic Heroes is like the control's too slippery. Like, this is the one game
criticism.
where I go flying off of platforms all the time. And I never have that
Yeah.
problem in any other Sonic game.
I really hope that if that remake is true, if it is true, they touch up on the controls.
Yeah.
Because, man, I love this game to death, but man, sometimes it just makes me
Yeah, it's got a lot of little knocks that need ironing out.
Level up.
Which, you know, hopefully if it does get a remake, it would have had a sufficient development time instead of being developed in the span of a single year, like Sonic Heroes was.
Oh yeah, it was like, what, 19 months?
Something like that, and then, one of the primary level designers got sick, so Takashi Iizuka, in addition to being the director, had to do all the level design as well by himself.
Which is fucking insane.
Which is how he ended up in the hospital.
Died. Yeah, he almost
died. And people talk about like, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing with Sonic, or he hasn't earned a spot being the leader of Sonic Team. I'm like, the man literally almost worked himself to death for you guys. Do I disagree with some of his creative decisions? Yes. I don't think that means he's like, you know,
incompetent,
undeserving of his position. Because he's been with Sonic Team long enough and worked on enough high-profile projects and whose blood, sweat, and tears literally into enough of these games to have earned a spot as like the head of Sonic Team.
Yeah,
and one thing I want people to think about is like, do you really want Sonic to have continued under Yuji Naka's leadership? Given what we know about Yuji Naka now.
Yeah, I mean, say what you want about like, you know, the dark, I guess like the 2010s era of Sonic.
Yeah, a lot of people have taken to calling that the meta era because a lot of it was like, you know, self-deprecating humor and.
But it was only like one game that made that fourth wall joke. I don't really get why it's called a meta era.
Well, it's also because that also coincided with like a major shift in Sonic social media presence and promotional tie-ins being like self-deprecating and self-referential about like, hey, hasn't Sonic sucked for a while now? We're in on the joke.
I guess so. But like,
it's more so about like the presentation of Sonic as a franchise than like anything that a specific game did.
But yeah, say what you want about like, you know, how the 2010s treated Sonic. It was better than like stuff like Crash or Spyro when they just did not have games at all. And then they did have a resurgence, but then they didn't really capitalize on those resurgence. With the exception of like, I guess Crash, but like, you know, we aren't getting Crash 5.
100% agree. I personally don't buy into the whole like, oh, the 2000s was the dark age of Sonic narrative. Because these games were games like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 that people like to pretend were never good. They were positively reviewed at the time.
Well,
I would like a lot of these. Well, the thing is, they were positively reviewed at the time by the publications that are saying they were never good.
Oh, I was gonna
like
say,
IGN.
Another things like stuff like the Advanced series and Rush were like well received. So like, you know, like it wasn't all bad. It just, you know, it had two stinkers.
It had two It had two high profile. It had like 06 was a high profile stinker. That doesn't mean the whole air raid was bad.
Well, I was also gonna say unless you want to count like Secret Rings as well. 3 kind of. I don't know. But it had like
3 kinda
bad game.
Yeah, like there were a couple bad games, but like that was more emblematic of that era of gaming in general rather than a specific problem with Sonic.
Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, I guess so. But listen, Sonic has been way better than some of the other franchises that I should have more games than they had that have. Like any other franchise would be like dead, or the company, the company who makes the games wouldn't make the games anymore, or sell them off.
Exactly.
Like it's kind of impressive that these series are still going. And
It's been through hell. It's been through hell and managed to come back. Come back bigger and better than ever.
Yeah, it's been like really good. We got a lot of stuff in the last 2 years, and we're still getting more games because the little recent game, and I guess we're not getting Frontiers 2 probably in like 2026. So
maybe. Is it just me or did Sonic pupils bounce around like a ping pong ball in that scene? Hey Timo, I didn't notice. Well, I'll have to look back at that.
Oh, are you talking about when he's like dashing off the rocks? And the CGI opening?
I might have been late to reading that message, so...
Oh.
Yeah, I can tell by the cutscene stuttering that either it's a problem with the disc or the disc drive itself, which is why I want to mod my original Xbox to, play games off of a new hard drive that's bigger, so I can install games directly to it and bypass the DVD drive entirely. Before Amy showed up, they were here, there, and everywhere. That was because that scene was for, comic effect.
Yeah. Although, I'm pretty sure Influen's not working on the comics right now, at the current moment. Like, he's working on other stuff.
Yeah, he's got his hands full with being, part, the head of the lore team for the entire franchise.
Yeah. I think it's Evan Stanley at the moment, because she takes up whenever he's not around.
I didn't know Evan Stanley was a woman. I just hear the name Evan and I think masculine name.
Oh yeah, when I learned that, I was like, oh, I didn't know she was a woman. I think she's non-binary. I think she goes by she, they, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But yeah, she was also she was working on a fan comic called Ghosts of the Future before she started working on official stuff, that's so cool. I think that's really cool that she was a fan of the series that just started working on official work.
You know what one of my favorite things I've discovered through Twitter years ago was?
What?
Are you familiar with 9 Inch Tails?
The band?
No, 9 Inch Tails, not 9 Inch Nails. But it is related to 9 Inch Nails, kinda. It is a famous/infamous piece of fan art of a peak 2000s new metal kid version of Tails that's like a teenager wielding a katana and a pistol with a more edgy looking hair design. He's aged up a bit and he's wearing a 9 Inch Nails shirt. I found the artist that made that piece has a Twitter account, and he told the story behind making that piece. Basically, it was a commission.
Oh, what? Why was my commission that?
Because it was the 2000s. It was the early 2000s. It was late 90s, early 2000s in new metal bands, like new metal and post grunge and like industrial metal acts were really popular at that time, like Nine Inch Nails, Korn, Slipknot. At least it wasn't Limp Bizkit.
What's Final Fantasy Sonic? Because I hear about it, but I don't know much about it.
Final Fantasy Sonic is a Flash game series that is like a big like Final Fantasy / anime as hell story made using Sonic and other video game sprites. And it's a turn-based RPG. It's a Flash game / comic, as Timo said.
It's a comic.
Yeah, it was one of those sprite comics that were so popular in the early 2000s because anyone could make them, as long as they.
See, I low-key kind of want like a RPG, a good RPG Sonic game. Turn-based
yeah,
RPG.
not Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood.
I kind of want to be on the level of like fucking Final Fantasy 10 or Final Fantasy 13 in terms of scope.
Like, my exposure to Final Fantasy Sonic has been through the opening of the 10th Flash game installment, where it opens with a bit. Yeah, post the website.
Oh wait.
It opens with like.
Ask you first. Sorry.
It opens with like a boss battle against. Like, the sprite is just Slash Beast from Mega Man X4, but it's supposed to be some sort of, like, temple guardian. In the context of the story, and Sonic's wielding, like, a gigantic Buster Sword. And he's Supersonic at the time. But, like, What I thought was funny is, like, you know, when you defeat the Night Titan in Frontiers, it has like Supersonic wielding its own sword against it.
Yeah.
A lot of people were like, "Holy shit, this is just like Final Fantasy Sonic when he uses the gigantic sword against the Temple Guardian."
I gotta check is Final Fantasy Sonic still going.
I would be surprised if it is.
I'm on the website right now. July 2017 was the last time it was worked on. Sorry, last time they post like anything on it, I mean.
Okay.
I'm counting on you guys.
Which honestly, that's impressive.
Anyway, we're doing Team Dark next. Because I'm still on my Shadow the Hedgehog hype from the Year of Shadow.
I've been playing the Shadow 05 game as of recently.
Okay, but like,
I think I'm on, like,
why did they need to give Rouge such a sexy outfit in this game?
I really like this outfit. I kind of wish he kind of stuck with it.
I wish he stuck with it too, but I can understand why they didn't. It shows a bit too much booba for a kid's game.
It's so weird that this is the only outfit. I can't believe they removed Rouge's dress in Sonic X Shadow Generations. Sorry, that was my first thought.
They didn't even do that. That wasn't even the thing people were mad about, because they didn't do that. What they were mad about was that they covered up like a small section of her back that was previously exposed that you would not notice otherwise.
It's really not a big deal.
Like, the thing that they were talking about, like, removing Rouge's breasts was people comparing...
All they did was just put up...
No. It was from this one, like, guy who was... It was from that discussion, came from this guy that knew nothing of... That obviously knew fuck all about Sonic, who just did a Google image search for Rouge and, like, compared her to a model from Generations to her model from Sonic Adventure 2.
You two ready?
And acted like that was her model from the original Generations.
Hope you can keep up with me.
Basically, it was just a grifter trying to start shit.
You can tell that they don't know anything about Sonic. They call her Rogue and not Rouge.
Yeah, they called her Rogue.
I want to point out the U is after the O, what makes a O sound, not a rouge, rouge sound, a rouge sound.
Yeah.
Like if it was rogue, the G would be after the O.
Yeah. But like the fact that they couldn't tell that one was very clearly like a low poly Dreamcast model and one was something more circa 2010s in terms of graphical fidelity showed that it was someone that didn't know or care about Sonic. It was just someone that wanted to farm engagements and start a shitstorm on the internet for
I'm pretty
clout.
sure they also say that like Sonic is like the Sonic movie is being Musasa, so that the woke movie or something like that.
Yeah, something
And
like
like,
that.
when
Yeah,
you just
these
look
people
against-
don't actually. The people that complain the most about that kind of stuff don't actually. They don't actually care or like actually watch the stuff that they're supposedly so invested in. You can tell that they're not real fans by the
guy who
way
worked on
that.
Final Fantasy oh, I'm sorry. I'll let you continue.
Like, you can
I just got a little
tell
excited.
by the way that they talk about these franchises that they don't know anything about them and they've never been fans of them.
Sorry, I was looking at chat, and the guy who worked on Final Fantasy Sonic worked on the live-action Sonic movies. Eventually worked
That's
on
awesome.
live-action Sonic. That's awesome.
I got another connection that I shared during the last Shadow the Hedgehog stream, but a lot of people were not in chat while I said that. Jeff Fowler, the director of the Sonic movies, got his start at Blur Studio working on the opening cutscene for Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like, you can actually see his name in the credits, by the way, if you look it up.
Yep. And that's why he was so
fun fact
excited
about
for
that.
Shadow. That's why he was so excited for being able to do Shadow in Sonic 3.
I wish I can do Shadow in
'Cause-
Sonic 3. Anyways,
I mean, Keanu Reeves' Shadow is surprisingly sexy. Not just in terms of the voice, but just everything. Still not a furry.
I don't believe you. Little tip about the homing attack. I think this also goes the case for the adventure games, like the last two adventure games. But when you home and attack an enemy, if you hold the button down, Shadow he'll stay in the air much longer.
Okay. It wasn't like that in Adventure 1 or 2.
It wasn't?
I don't think
thought
it
it was like
was.
that, at
Then
least in
again, I've
Adventure
never really
2.
tried it.
It has to be the case in Adventure 2. I haven't played Adventure 2 in a while.
I mean, this is running on a
game.
completely different engine from Adventure 1 and 2, so it's understandable that things would, work
well,
differently.
I think it is using like the same physics, even if it's a bit
It's definitely not the same physics with how slippery you are.
Well, no, it is the same physics, just a little botch because of the render rare. Oh man.
Yeah, I went on earlier about how, allegedly, but I don't think this has been confirmed by anyone. The reason that they went with renderware is because they were originally going to use an in-house engine and only have it be on Xbox and GameCube. But then Sony came in being like, if you don't release the next mainline Sonic game on the PlayStation 2, then we're revoking your license to publish games on the PlayStation 2.
I love blackmailing. Not blackmailing. What's the word? It's not hostage situation.
Ultimatum.
Ultimatum. Yeah, that's a better term. I love ultimatums.
But
Also,
that's also the reason why the PlayStation 2 version looks and runs the worst. Because it was the one that got the least amount of development time because the GameCube and Xbox were what they were targeting.
I like to imagine that they did that as spite. I know that it's not the case, but I like to imagine that.
Yeah. The thing that a lot of people don't grasp about the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox generation is that it was very much a different case from more modern Sony platforms where, the PlayStation 2 was the weakest console of that generation. and usually had the worst versions of multi-platform titles because they had to, like, they would develop it for the GameCube or Xbox first, and then they would cheese grade off enough edges to make it work on the PlayStation 2.
Bye, Shadow Dragon.
Have a good night, Shadow Dragon!
Everything now is on is worked off of PCs, so...
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, it helps that, you know, Nintendo Switch aside, because Nintendo just has to be the quirky one every gen now. Yeah,
I hope Switch 2 is more powerful.
I hope Switch 2 is, like... I hope Switch 2 is, like, a worthwhile upgrade over the Switch instead of just, like, you know, a Switch, but more powerful. I want them to fix some, like, fundamental design... I hope they fix some fundamental design issues that I have with both the Switch and the Joy-Cons.
I love Joy-Con drift. But, I hope that at the very least is on a PS4 level, like base PS4 level. Like, that's more... That's more like acceptable.
Like, I'm not concerned with it outputting 4K graphics.
Yeah, same. I want ports to be good, and we're at 60 frames.
Yeah, it should be 60 frames minimum by now on all platforms, which is why, like, most games on PS5 and Xbox Series S and X offer both performance and fidelity modes. And, like, I would like for a Switch to offer that as well. If not just, you know, make it baseline targeting 1080p 60 FPS as, like, the standard. Obviously, as the generation goes on and tools develop and stuff gets more hardware intensive, that's not going to stick.
I don't know what's, like, how the advance even further than the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Because, like
this generation's been pretty as someone who's got a PS5 and Xbox Series S, this has been a pretty disappointing generation in terms of, like, technical performance and, like, visual fidelity upgrades, because, like, a lot of it you gotta squint in order. You gotta have a side-by-side comparison and squint at it, and it's gotta be like a 4K resolution capture of it in high fidelity with no image compression, just to see the difference between last gen stuff and current gen stuff.
I love that when the PlayStation 5 Pro was being revealed, and they had that, like, the footage of Last of Us Part 2. It was like, look at the difference between Last Part 2 on PS5.
Yeah, look at the visual fidelity difference between the two, and they look exactly the same.
And generally, I could not tell the difference. I couldn't tell the difference at all.
Like, Sony didn't seem to understand that video compression for YouTube is going to fuck that up.
Like, all I really
it's something that every Let's Player and YouTube video game reviewer has understood for over a decade, but Sony didn't understand that for the grand announcement of their next console.
Like, there might be, like, a tangible difference. I don't... It's
like, apparently it's more... To my understanding, it's more like a performance upgrade than a visual upgrade.
Yeah, because I heard...
Which, you know, fair enough, but, like... Fair enough, but, like, why'd you hype up the PS5 as being able to do 4K 60 FPS when you knew that it was very much not going to do that?
Man, you're actually doing pretty well on these special stages. I hate these special stages so much.
The trick, from my experience, is instead of holding the dash button, you just spam it.
Yeah, even when I'm spamming it, I'm always getting stuck in, like, the walls.
I'm just getting lucky here. I'll be honest, I'm just particularly lucky this time. Because the physics in the special stages are fucked beyond belief.
I do not know, man, I'm praying.
I already don't like the half-pipe special stages. This is the worst incarnation of them.
Okay, well, but what about Sonic? No, Sonic Advance 2 didn't have the half spike. It had that.
No,
Stupid
none of the
free
Sonic
flowing one.
Advance games have them.
I'm thinking of Sonic Rush. That's the problem. I'm thinking of Sonic Rush.
Sonic Rush was better because you controlled it more accurately with a touchscreen. It just makes it a bitch to emulate.
Sorry, I love this theme so much.
Primary target.
Yeah.
Don't forget it.
This is Ocean Palace, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I have trouble remembering a lot of the Sonic Heroes stage names.
I remember all the names. Because I have
Partly
no
because
life and
Sonic
I'm
Heroes
older.
is one I don't go back to as often as other games of this era.
Yeah, I remember all the stages because I have no life and I don't. I'm a loser. You died. Why does the water look like? What's the word? It looks like.
Lube.
You know the little like. No, that's not what I was gonna say. I was gonna say it looks like you know how like when you hot it like was heat waves. It looks like heat waves.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. I mean, Renderware was not known for being able to render good water.
And I'll open it.
Like, Renderware is not something you use for graphical fidelity, it's something you use to easily port across platforms.
That being said, I do think this game looks really well if you ignore the very shiny character models.
Yeah, if they toned down the shininess a bit, it would look really good. My problem with Shadow the Hedgehog's visual design is that they reused the models from this game, and they clearly don't fit with Shadow the Hedgehog's
They're too bright.
more gritty and industrial art style.
Yeah, they're too bright.
Like, I understand from a development standpoint why you would just reuse models if you're using the same engine. But, like, they could have at least... Like, Rouge is the only one that got touched up at all.
I felt like she was
Because,
worse.
you know, they... Like, I say touched up because they had to give her a different outfit. But, like... They could have redone the textures on them to fit better with the art style, I think. You know, in a perfect world where they didn't have less than a year to make it.
Why don't we try up there?
Honestly, it is pretty impressive that they made Heroes, Shadow, and 06 in like a year, and Riders and Secret Rings in like all in 3 years.
Well, Riders, they outsourced development to Dimps, which is what they would tend
that
to
was
do
Dimps?
for us. Yeah, that was Dimps.
Oh, I thought that was Sonic Team itself.
Sonic Team
probably,
gets
like-
credited on almost every Sonic project, whether they directly develop it or not, because they still
I guess with the
oversee its
Superstar
development.
situation, Then. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
I
a
guess it's
Superstar situation where they oversee its development, but they don't actively work on it.
Huh, I genuinely didn't know that Dimps did what is Omega doing?
He's doing
Yeah,
his
that's it.
best.
That Dimps did Riders.
Yeah, they did Riders, they did the Advanced games, they did the Rust games. They were like Sega's go-to for spin-off games for the longest time.
Now I believe Sonic Team is probably big enough to probably actually do multiple games. I mean, in fact, we already know they're big enough. They did Shadow Gens and they're working on Frontiers too.
I wouldn't say big enough,
yeah.
more so that like they're clearly not as big as they should be, but they have enough staff that they could split them without too much of a problem now.
Yeah.
Like part of the reason that 06 was so unpolished, apart from, you know, just generally being Rust, is that, in addition to Yuji Naka quitting partway through development and taking some staff with him because he's a prick, the original director of the game, when they realized that they weren't going to be able to port it to the Wii without serious overhauls, quit its development and took half of the staff with them to create Sonic and the Secret Rings. So, 06 was developed with less than half of the staff that it was supposed to have. In only 1 year, on brand new hardware for two consoles that were radically different from each other, that they were completely unfamiliar with, in a brand new engine that was not suited to Sonic games.
And with the director leaving the game.
Yeah. And the director that replaced it...
Director.
Replaced by a much more inexperienced director. And it had to come out hell or high water by holiday 2006, so they could have a 15th anniversary mainline title for the holiday shopping season.
And Sega would never repeat this problem ever again. Don't look at Sonic Boom.
It's not like Sonic 06 is just a culmination of how Sega ran Sonic Team at the time, rather than like a uniquely bad situation.
Honestly, Omega's my favorite. Sorry, I went off the topic. I didn't mean to go off like that. Omega's my favorite power character.
Omega's my favorite power character too, because he slides around the least when you're using his combo attacks. And also because he's just a fun character. He has the best voice lines.
He just yells kill.
I like when he yells kill or like worthless consumer models.
Something that I found out recently that he says that if you lose your teammates during
well, that's a load off my back.
Yeah, he just said that's a load off my back. It's like, why would you say that?
Because Omega thinks that he's the best. Even though he has friends that he cares about, he's still egotistical. He's still designed by Eggman.
I love Omega so much. He needs a bit more.
Omega's so fun. He's my favorite murderous kill bot in any franchise.
He's my favorite Sonic robot. What was that, Shadow? I never heard that voice line before.
Shadow has a lot of weird deliveries in this game. It makes me kind of wish that David Humphrey got at least one more round as a Shadow in one of the games so we can see him like perfect his Shadow voice.
It always throws me off when I go back to David Humphrey because he just sounds like a normal guy compared to like every Shadow voice after him that just does like a voice. He does like a wispy, raspy voice.
Yeah.
That's why when you go to Prime, it's like, oh wow, he just sounds like a normal guy.
Yeah, he's more like David Humphrey than Jason Griffith or especially Kirk Thornton. Not to say that Kirk Thornton or Jason Griffith are bad. Jason Griffith has become my favorite Shadow over the years. And Kirk Thornton suffered more from not having good material to work with than doing bad performances.
Yeah, agreed. I really like his Shadow experience in Shadow Gens.
Yeah. I feel like he's starting to really nail his Shadow voice in Forces. And then he got to give a good performance with that in the lead up to Shadow Gens and then Shadow Gens itself.
Although I remember hearing his voice in Sonic X, his Shadow voice, Jason Griffin's Shadow voice in Sonic X.
Yeah, if you go back to his first, if you go back to his first performance as Shadow when he first debuted in the Sonic Adventure 2 arc of Sonic X, you can tell he has no idea what to do with the Shadow voice because he just sounds like Sonic, but more like evil.
It sounds like emo Sonic.
Yeah. Jason Griffith is one of the Sonic franchise voice actors that I have a lot of respect for because you can tell he put a lot of time and effort over his tenure with the franchise in perfecting his, not just his voices, but his acting chops.
Yeah, I would like to see him come back to voice somebody, not even just like Sonic, just like somebody, like Jet or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Jason Griffith said that he tried to get Paramount to include him, Roger Craig Smith, and Ryan Drummond as like a quick little cameo, even if it's just like, you know, a crowd shot in Sonic 3, but it ended up not happening.
Oh, that's so sweet. I kind of wish they did it though. That would be so nice. Like,
yeah, I wish they did it too. I also wish that you know, for like if they include more Sonic characters, obviously they're gonna include more Sonic characters, but like I wish they would use more game voice actors in addition to the celebrity voice actors instead of. Like, I love Colleen O'Shaughnessy, not just as Tails, but for performances she's done in my childhood. But I wish that we had more of the cast besides just her represented in the movies in some form. So she's not, like, the standout on the marquee against a bunch of celebrity voice actors.
Yeah.
Like, if Big the Cat were to appear in one of these movies, I want him to be voiced by Kyle Bear.
Oh, sorry about just him yelling "kill" out of nowhere. Yeah, I kind of wish. That's why I appreciate Ben Schwartz so much, because if you actually look at interviews, he knows what he's talking about. He actually mentions the other voice actors.
Yeah.
Mentions what the inspirations that he gets from using his own Sonic voice.
Yeah, so you can tell he is really enthusiastic about the role and the people he's working with.
By the way, fun fact, you can
like
just spam the home attack on him.
Yeah, by took him out with flying type, so he's not staying still.
Oh no, you can just spam it even when he's moving.
Yeah, it's just I tend to get shot when I do that. Or that happens where the homing attack doesn't connect.
Chaos control.
You know what? You don't get the move anymore.
Yeah, you should probably get him when he's like frozen in place. Oh.
You got no.
So, wait, you said you've never tried the two-player mode in Sonic Heroes before, right?
No, I never tried it.
Have you read the Metal Virus arc of the NEW comics?
A good chunk of it, but I never finished it.
The design
I do know what happens, though.
I'm not talking about, like, plot-wise, but the design of the characters infected with the Metal Virus is taken from an Easter egg in the two-player mode where you hold down one of the buttons, depending on what console you're playing, and it changes the team you're playing as into like robot versions of themselves that look like that.
That's cool.
Like, that's the kind of stuff that I respect Ian Flynn for, because it's like, oh, draw inspiration from something that some people don't even know about in a throwaway two-player mode in Sonic Heroes for your next story arc.
I do know that, like, I think the Shadow Androids and, like, what was it called? The Empire City arc? Eggman Empire arc? Or something like that. They appear in the colors of the multiplayer characters in Shadow the Hedgehog, which is really cool.
Yeah. So, I keep forgetting that Shadow the Hedgehog had a two-player mode because it was really bare bones. It was just a deathmatch.
Yeah, I need to try it out because, like,
It was a deathmatch with up to 4 It was a deathmatch with up to 4 players. But like, all of the arenas were just like kind of boxes, and it was really just, you could tell they didn't put much effort into it because why would they? And some of the Shadow Androids can't use other guns because they have guns built into them. Also, here's a little Easter egg. If you stare at Rouge for a while, just you gonna do it. It's a thing where, like, if you stare at Rouge for a while in a first-person view, she'll wink at you. There we go.
Oh, there she goes.
Yeah, they didn't need to do that, but such a cool detail.
Also, there's a texture difference between this and the GameCube version. Those little platforms were moving in the GameCube compared to this Xbox version.
Those machines are
Yeah, there's also a texture difference on the final boss in the Xbox version. They gave them a more, like, shiny metallic, like, cobalt blue texture for Metal Madness and Metal Overlord instead of, standard Sonic blue.
Oh, okay. That's very... I guess hardware differences? I don't know. Probably.
That was what original Xbox versions of games used to have, is like their selling feature was that, like, GameCube versions had the shortest load times, but had compressed audio and usually had, like, a couple of motion videos either heavily compressed or removed, or sometimes they had to put it on 2 discs. Just GameCube was hampered by its storage medium. PS2 was hampered by its low power. The Xbox was the most powerful of that generation and was basically just a Windows PC consoleized in terms of its hardware. So it could pull off higher fidelity graphics and textures than the other consoles. So that's why you get stuff like Metal Overlord having fancy textures in the Xbox version that aren't in the PS2 or GameCube. And stuff like in the Xbox version of Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex, Crash and Coco have more advanced fur textures as opposed to just the flat polygon shaders that they had in the PS2 version.
Yeah. I don't know, I like looking at...
Yes, I will hydrate because my throat is dry after all that.
I feel like if you don't ever tell you to hydrate at least once, you would just die of dehydration.
I do have problems with dehydration. I've been sent to the hospital for it on a non-zero amount of times. Most of the time, though, it wasn't my fault. Hey. But, yeah, one time happened while I was at school. And, that was embarrassing.
Naturally.
It was all because it was like the one time I tried to play in the pep band for a sports game, for like one of the school football games in high school. And my mom was going to meet up with me because she was a teacher at the middle school. My high school and middle school were part of the same school. They were just in different buildings. That were right across the street from each other. And my mom, being the not exactly the brightest knife in the crayon box that she is, didn't tell me which of the 2 schools she was going to meet me at. So I walked, and I'm wearing, like, for the pep band, we had to wear, like, these special pep band t-shirts that were really thick in terms of the material they used and were long sleeve. And this was in, like, August. So, and it gets hot here during, like, late summer, early fall. It just gets hot here in general. So, like, I walk over to the middle school campus to meet her, and she's not there. And she's like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, I went to your classroom to meet up with you to get my lunch. So, like you said, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm waiting for you at the high school." So I go back over to the high school, and I can't find her. I'm like, she's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "I'm at the high school trying to find you." She's like, "Oh, I went back over to the middle school to meet up with you."
Oh my god.
And it got to the point where I was so exhausted and hot from walking around in the heat, in like the 80-something degree heat, without having anything to eat or drink, because I was trying to get something to eat and drink, in this overly thick long sleeve t-shirt that I was forced to wear, that I got heat exhaustion and had to be rushed to the hospital.
Oof. Yeah, that sounds awful, man. I don't know what to say.
Basically, I'm surrounded by very incompetent people for most of my life. Up until now, at least.
When grinding, use X button for acceleration and balance with left thumbstick.
Oh yeah, and the second time I got sent to the hospital for dehydration / heat exhaustion, or whatever you want to call it, was when I was working as a grocery store clerk, right? I very clearly had the flu. Like, I had all the symptoms of having the flu, and I tried to call out sick because I clearly had the flu. And they guilt-tripped me into showing up anyways because I had missed so many days already for other times I was sick, as if that's in my control. Like, that's why I hated working there. It was a Kroger-owned grocery chain that used to be a locally owned grocery chain, but Kroger bought them out. And like, they were, anytime I had to call out, they would try to guilt trip me into showing up. And I'm very susceptible to guilt tripping. Because I don't like the idea of letting people down. So I showed up anyway, even though I clearly had the flu. I had a fever, I had chills, I was throwing up constantly. I had to leave my post multiple times to go throw up. I asked my shift manager if I could go the fuck home because I clearly have a flu. He's like, "Oh, you can go home as soon as we get someone to fill in for you."
I don't think they.
It gets to the point where
on the spot, like
it gets to the point where
you don't understand why.
You joke about that, but you're not far off. It got to the point where it had been like 2 hours since they were supposed to call a replacement to fill my shift. When, in all honesty, if I'm throwing up in the middle of my shift and I have flu symptoms, they should have sent me home immediately if they were, good at their jobs. If they were responsible. But like, it gets to the point where I'm like struggling to stand up because I'm now dehydrated because I've thrown up so much. And I pass out at the register while I'm, attending a customer and ringing up their stuff. I pass out. And they finally call an ambulance to come take me out of there. And after I get treated for it and I'm given, the okay to go back home, they tell me to take a day off from New York so I can build up back all the fluids that I've lost. And then the next time that I go into work, they have me fill out an accident form that's basically amounts to, what can I do differently next time to avoid this happening again? And that was the impetus that led me to quit that job. I didn't even give them a 2-week notice. I just quit.
You try not to die, dummy. Try not to get sick. Like, I bet that's
just have perfect health all the time. It's not that hard. Just never get sick. Just don't catch a flu.
System.
Just don't catch the flu during flu season.
I bet they're like, we don't know why they left. and we just don't understand. It was such a good
I went back
worker,
there a
and
couple
then they
times.
left.
I went back there a couple times after I quit, and they were still happy to see me at the very least. So it's not like, that bridge is completely burned. At the very least, that's how they were at the Starbucks that I started working there at. Like, I started as a Starbucks barista, and they were so underprepared for that job because they did a shit job training me, that I was transferred over to working as it was a Starbucks inside of the grocery store. One of those things. And I asked them, I talked to, the manager. I was like, I can't deal with this workload. I am an autistic person. This is my first job. I haven't been properly trained for it. I can't deal with the workload. I can't deal with the hours. This is too much for me. I'm thinking of quitting. And they basically bribed me into staying by moving me over to the front end, as they call it, which is, the grocery store part where I'm working as a cashier. And the reason that they were desperate to have me not quit was because they were having massive turnover in all departments.
I wonder why.
The other thing that convinced me to quit was, this is, something they couldn't have possibly known, but still sits with me personally. It was first of all, it was a shit day of work because it was a day that I wasn't supposed to come in on. I didn't get to work the register like I was hired to do. They had me fill someone else's job in the bread department, which is something I wasn't trained for. And they had me working a 10-hour shift when I was only a part-time worker. And it was also the day that my last childhood dog died while I was at that shift.
So you can home.
So basically I just had a lot of rough times working there. I met good people there, and I had good times working there too. I enjoyed getting consistently reviewed by mystery shoppers as one of the best cashiers, so I kept getting free lunches from the deli.
Good to hear.
And I'm pretty sure that the cashier that worked the lane next to me probably had a crush on me, and I think her dad was kind of rooting for me to get together with her, but I'm terrible at noticing subtle signs.
I thought you were gonna say one of the people who had a crush on me. Also, her dad also had a crush on me.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did, considering he kept on trying to get me to go to the Hand and Stone massage parlor that he worked at.
I need to test if you're good for my daughter. I need to make out with you.
Yeah, kind of wish I had taken up that, if that was the situation, that I wish I had gone for that because she was sweet. Better than the person I was dating at the time. Who dumped me 2 days before we were supposed to share a room at a convention together. And then when I decided not to go to the convention because sharing a room with someone who just broke up with me 2 days prior was going to be awkward, she got mad at me and called me immature for not being able to deal with that. And I'm like, I have so much dirt on you, lady, that I'm keeping secret because I respect you.
I guess some relationships are just not worth it.
It was also the second time that we had dated because the first time she cheated on me with the guy that introduced me to her. And I didn't hold it against him because he had no idea that me and her were dating. He was a cool dude. She was two-timing the both of us.
I just can't stand cheating. It's a thing that if it happens, I just can't deal with that person.
Yeah, that's how I am nowadays. I've given second chances to cheaters before, and it always ends up bad.
In some cases, it might be acceptable, but I just don't want to take those chances. I didn't know you can take those out with Thundershoot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how you're supposed to take them out to get past some areas.
Oh, I just avoid them.
Like, there's certain places where they're almost impossible to avoid, like on those, floating upwards parts.
Oh no!
So I'm pretty sure you're supposed to use.
It's going upwards, because you can see the shadows.
I'm pretty sure there's at least one level in one story where you encounter them when using the tornado move on a pulley to go upwards. And I'm pretty sure you're supposed to, shoot those down with Thundershoot.
Also, a little fact, you can actually use the speed characters to take them out. As he's at level 3, yeah. But I know a little tip for later. When you're fighting you can avoid those by seeing the little shadows. When you find those little turtles, the golden ones specifically, you need to wait until the head's out, which is why that's why they're not taking damage. Also, the invincibility frames on this game is so little. They give you very little time for. I kind of get it because this is more combat focused, but it's very annoying.
Yeah, especially since you can get what I like to call wombat comboed by certain attack patterns. And it's you got hit, sucks to be you.
But yeah, that's a little tip for the golden turtles. I saw you struggling a little bit with them.
Oh, I wasn't struggling. It's just I was button mashing because I was just zoning out.
Oh, okay. No, I understand. Yeah, see, they only take damage with their heads out.
Yeah. It's more so that, Omega wants to lock on to, specific targets more than others, depending on your positioning. I'm trying to hit a turtle that has its head exposed, and he keeps locking on to one that's retracted.
Yeah, I think it's because it's where you're facing. I think it's, it depends on, where the character is facing.
It's what direction he's facing rather than which one you're actually closest to.
Which is why whenever you do attacks, they will just slide off the ledge because they're facing that direction and not the direction of where your controller where you're aiming with the control stick.
Yeah. And while Omega's my favorite power character to play as, because I've already given the reasons, but he's also kind of hard to judge where he's facing because he spins around so much.
Yeah. I think I am going to head out. Oh man, they didn't take.
This is probably going to be my last section of the night, anyway.
I am very tired.
Yeah, I'm a bit more tired than I was anticipating.
Have
a good night, CoffeePot.
One thing I have to do before I go.
I'm afraid.
Give me a drink, bartender.
Is that one of your favorite redeems?
I do like this one because it's so awkward.
If you've seen my playthrough, my stream of The Town with No Name, the whole game is awkward like that.
I was actually
especially
there.
because
I wasn't in I was in chat as specified, but yeah.
It's supposed to be a comedy, but the timing is just the delivery is so off that just makes everything awkward and uncomfortable. Which makes it funnier than it's supposed to be in the wrong way.
But in the best way.
Yes. It's like The Room. It's funnier than it's supposed to be, but not for the reasons that the director wants.
Natural.
I guess, have a good night.
I got bed.
Get some rest.
Good night.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna... I might not even do the Team Rose fight tonight. because I am feeling a little mentally drained. Just I've done a lot of like mental preparing for going back to class today. And while the class itself wasn't anything difficult, it's more so like, getting back into the groove of having a consistent daily schedule instead of just lazing about doing fuck all. Which, I prefer having stuff to do. I work better when I have stuff to do and a schedule to follow. I think it's also that, maybe Sonic Heroes wasn't the proper game to, choose to stream tonight. Because, unless I've noticed that, I noticed from today's stream that unless CoffeePot is here, I don't have all that much to say about, the gameplay of Sonic Heroes as it's happening. Because so much of it is just playing the same levels 4 times in 4 different stories in order to beat the game. So there's only so much I can say about, what's happening in Sonic Heroes before it starts getting repetitive. And I don't like being repetitive in my commentary. I do like running jokes and repeating stuff that people miss, but, there's only so many times I can talk about Grain Metropolis, or, Seagate, or Ocean Palace, or, how easy the rival battles are. It just feels like, I'm rambling about nothing, like I am now! But yeah, I started a music appreciation course today. I was supposed to take it last semester, but it got canceled because, funnily enough, I was the only person who signed up for it. Also, holy shit, I made it to the end of a Team Dark 2 Act 2 Team Dark stages with the key. I never do that. This is just a lucky night for me. Holy shit!
Not taking this seriously.
Alright, let's see if we can... I'm pretty sure I already have this emerald, but I still want to see if I can get it. I can't remember which emeralds I've already gotten on this file. Because a lot of it is just, like, up to chance, really. Because it's whether the physics want to cooperate or not. Alright, we got it! God, I wish I could hold Rouge in my arms. Sorry, not a furry still. You know what, I think I will do... Not Team Rose here, it's Team Chaotix here. I think I will do this boss fight, because it'll be over in a couple seconds.
What's up, SBO? And you are...
Can we talk about how this is like... when this gets uploaded on YouTube, I want you guys to talk about, like, how this is the least... No... God, my words are failing me. How this is the rival battle that has, like, the least valid reason to start. But it's also, like, the most realistic of how gang fights start. It's just like, I don't like the way you look. Let's kill him.
Let us get the doctor first.
I'll find Eggman's treasure first.
Eggman is mine. Get out of our way.
You put up a good fight.
Oh, Team Chaotix is actually putting up a fight. And they're dead.
You should thank me for letting you live.
All right, with that one done. Thank you. I was gonna see I'll be here all night, but I'll be done in, just a sec when I can reach a point to pause.
Definitely up to no good.
Enemies detected 200 meters ahead. Initiating battle mode.
Hey guys, wait for me!
All right, now I reached a good pause point, so I can stop. So switch on back over here. God, I need to, get better icons for, my Stream Deck layout. I also need to get an actual Stream Deck. All right, let's see who we're rating tonight. Well, there we, Cutie Pie Ren. Because Kitty Pie Ren is a cutie pie. Indeed. All right, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. Thank you to JKR and CoffeePot for providing some commentary for me tonight. I'll see you guys hopefully on Friday if the winter storm doesn't knock out my power with my birthday stream of Ape Escape. Until then, unpleasant dreams. Good night, everybody.